Mr. Pathé, now we've also witnessed a rise in anti-incumbency sentiment in Rajasthan, where it elects the alternate government every year. Now it's BJP which has taken decisive lead, but we're also seeing the anti-incumbency sentiment in Telangana at the moment.
I think Telangana was boiling up to that because of the family, again like a Congress party, the families hold over the power. It was the father, the son and the daughter and the son-in-law who were running the show. And though Chandrasekhar Rao was the chief minister, everybody knew it was his son who was running the government. So K.T. Ramarao was in charge. And see, when you don't involve the other people, in the governance, you don't involve in the administration, then it becomes more difficult for you to hold on to power. And then there have been allegations about massive corruption. There have been allegations about even the MLAs being involved in corruption, because it's about the the gifts that the government wanted to give. The MLAs had to be bribed to get that. So this being the case, I think there has been an anti-incumbency which was just building up, and then Congress was ready to take on, because I think during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, Rahul Gandhi's walk travels through Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and I think it must have made some kind of an impact. Especially also, Andhra has a lot of Reddy community which is out of power for last 10 years. So they were hankering to come back to power, and for them the Congress has been a good vehicle. So I think they have made a big difference as far as the results are concerned.
Right, Mr. Pathé, what were some of the factors that worked for the BJP this time?
Where?
In these elections, it has been decisive in all the three. Absolutely.
Overall, I think the strategies they worked on every state. Each state they looked at, and then I'm sure even at each constituency, they've gone by constituency to constituency as to who will fit in where, and then what kind of changes have to be made. I'm sure it must have been in the works for more than a year. So it's not just, they come to the elections just a couple of months before the elections and then put up candidates. See, that's the problem with the Congress. Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka are not, hands-on. They're probably, get involved only towards the end of the elections. So that is the reason why BJP does well, because they take every election seriously and they want to not just win, they want to win big.
What message do you think really trickles down to the grassroots workers and the cadre, the morale of these grassroots level workers who have been trying to reach out to the voters? Because at the end of the day, given what's happening at the national scale, given what's happening at the main camps, the headquarters, actually boils down to what we are seeing unfold on our screen in the terms of numbers taking shape. Why do you think the Congress fails to take these elections seriously enough? Like you're saying, the BJP does, but the Congress doesn't, and the impact that it really has on the morale of the cadres.
You see, the problem with the Congress is it has a cadre which is not fully dedicated to the party. And then there is a reason for that too. Because once the elections are over and the leaders elected, they live in their own world. They forget about the cadre. I can give the example of Karnataka, which is the latest election where Congress has won big. But then when it comes to sharing power, it's all, the people who are known people, who are MLAs, and then there are, some boards and corporations for which the party workers, can be accommodated. So you need to reward them for the work, you need to reward them for a hard labor, but then you don't. So when it comes to boards and corporations, it is only MLAs, again, who are given, positions, in these places. So it demoralizes the party workers, because for all that we do, what do we get? So there has to be some kind of a rewards, which BJP does very well, whereas the Congress doesn't.
Right, Mr. Pathé, let's also take a listen to some of the reactions which are coming in at the moment. Now, with BJP getting closer to winning the seats in 3 states, here is what BJP spokesperson Jaiveer Shergill has to say. Take a listen.
देखिए कि जो रुझान आ रहे हैं उससे तस्वीर साफ है कि राज्य चुनाव में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की बल्ले बल्ले होने वाली है, और ढोल और जो कार्यकर्ता का जोश है वो शोर मचाने वाला है। तो मोदी जी की जो विकास और विश्वास की राजनीति है वो कांग्रेस पार्टी को एक बार फिर से राजनीतिक वनवास में भेजने वाली है। आज इन राज्य चुनाव का जो स्कोर है भारतीय जनता पार्टी का 3-0 होने वाला है। मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़ और राजस्थान जो भाजपा का कार्यकर्ता है उनकी मेहनत रंग लाएगी और भाजपा का जो विजय रथ है वो इन 3 राज्यों में जरूर आएगा।
And Mr. Padhay, coming back to you, we have been talking about the impact of these state elections on the upcoming general elections. If you can take a few steps back and talk about how general and the assembly elections, different ball games altogether.
Absolutely different. Because see, that's a bigger picture. You have 543 seats across the country. Then BJP is in a prime position there. From 283 seats, they went up to 303 in 2019 elections, and Congress, is just at about 52 seats. So there's a vast difference when it comes to parliamentary elections and the state elections. In state elections, at least, the Congress is able to fight BJP on a one-to-one this thing. But when it comes to parliamentary elections, they've shrunk so much, it's not easy to take on BJP at the national level. So that's the reason why they have been looking for some kind of an alliance, looking for people who can align with them to take on the BJP. So that's why, the India Alliance got together. They put together some 28 parties, of course, many of them just regional parties which don't have any MPs there. So at least if they were able to join hands and put their numbers together, they could have made a difference. They can still make a difference, provided they learn take lessons from these elections and then work out as to where our strengths lie. Even if it's a small party, it can, win a few seats or, pull in the voters. So they need to give that seat. So the bigger parties have to be ready to, make sacrifice. So unless they are able to make sacrifices, that alliance is not going to work. It all boils down to bigger parties in the India Alliance. You have Congress, you have Samajwadi Party, you have TMC. All the leaders of these parties should be ready to sacrifice for the others. Unless that happens, it's not going to work for them to fight a gigantic machine like BJP.
Talking about the India Alliance that you've been talking about here, how do you think these assembly election results, how will that augur for the newly formed alliance, INDIA?
It's very, very, very bad, because I think they were hoping at least they'll be able to make an impact in either Madhya Pradesh or Rajasthan, which is supposed to be very close, but that doesn't seem to be happening. I mean, BJP is a runaway victor in both the states. So that being the case, I think the morale in the India Alliance will be very, very low, because only the Congress has done well in Telangana, which they might, but it's a smaller state, one of the smaller states. And as far as the national level impact is concerned, I don't think winning just one Telangana state will give them the heft that they require to lead the alliance, India Alliance.
Mr. Padhay, the early trends showed Congress leading in Chhattisgarh, and then we saw neck-and-neck competition between Congress and the BJP. What did not work for Congress in Chhattisgarh?
Initially, I've been here since 8 o'clock in the morning. Initially, Congress was leading in 4 states, 4 out of 4.
Yes.
I mean, that was the situation. From there, it came down to 3 and then down to 2 and now just 1, that is Telangana. So, I mean, they were supposed to do well in Chhattisgarh and win. I mean, that was one of the states they were looking at as a sure shot. But surprisingly, they're not doing all that well. BJP seems to be coming on the comeback trail. See, in Chhattisgarh, the BJP has ruled for 3 consecutive terms, and it was only in 2018 that Baghel was able to win the state for them, and he had a fairly good administration, and which has been acknowledged even by some of the BJP leaders, that he gave a good administration, and they thought it was going to be difficult to defeat Baghel in these elections. But something that hasn't really worked, because I think there was also tensions between the 2 top leaders in the BJP. I mean, in the Congress. So probably that has had an impact on these elections. And then Baghel had a free run as far as the candidate selection was concerned. He did change quite a few. I mean, I think 27 out of 68 seats that they had. So, you know, you create rebellion once you do that kind of changes. But he made sure that it was done at the last minute so that they didn't, go to the other parties. In spite of that, it seems that he has not been able to do as well as his party expected.
Yes, Mr. Padhya, and my colleague Molly Gambhir is here with us with the latest numbers. Molly, over to you.
What a morning it has been here in India. Now, it's been over 4 hours since the counting started in the 4 crucial battleground states. It's been called a semi-final ahead of the 2024 nationwide vote here in India. And we are getting you up to speed with what the numbers are saying at this point. Remember, a lot has happened in these 4 hours. The day started out with many shades of optimism, pessimism, and now it's slowly translating into introspection, lesson taking, and celebration. So while we track those moods on the ground, let's just get you a better sense of the numbers and the way they are shaping up at this point. We're starting off with the crucial state of Madhya Pradesh. Remember, in this state, anti-incumbency has been an integral part of the discussions, of the way in which the pollsters have been talking about the messaging as well. And there we have the message loud and clear with the BJP at 140 at this point. It's almost 12:30 p.m., about 4.5 hours into the counting. 140 for the BJP and Congress at 89. So that in itself tells you what Shivraj Singh Chauhan's day is looking like at this point, and the way in which we've seen this state election panning out for the Congress at the national level. That's going to be another lesson for it as well. Let's now talk about the other heartland state of Rajasthan. The BJP at 113, the Congress at 68 here as well. We've been talking about the multiple factors that have worked out well for the BJP. And at this point, that's where things stand. The messaging here has also been loud and clear in terms of the emphasis that the BJP has played, not just in the state of Rajasthan, but overall as well when it comes to the issue of farmers' welfare, when it comes to the issue of women empowerment, education, employment, and the kind of promises that it has been making. So there we have the Congress at 68, an embarrassing figure at this point at least, the BJP at 113. Let's move on now to the other crucial battleground of Chhattisgarh, where the BJP at this point standing at 52. The Congress is looking at 37. At the same time, we look at the way in which the voters have given a thumbs up to the emphasis that the BJP has been laying on the core issues which have also been talked about as nationwide indicators of where things stand. Let's also move on now to the state of Telangana, where BRS at 41, Congress at 63, and the BJP at 10. We've been talking about how the BRS, remember, at this point is not also a part of the opposition alliance. The Congress at this point, we've been also dissecting how this is a positive development for the Congress, the only positive development right now, at least with the way things have panned out. It is going to be in an introspection mode as far as the other 3 states are concerned. With that, we are slipping into a very short break, but that remains our continuing focus as we dissect the developments, we decode the numbers, and get to the latest reactions from on the ground.